She was known as Miss Kitty, the heart and soul of Dodge City, holding her own at the Long Branch Saloon with a blend of charm and grit. Fans couldn't get enough of her resilience and independent spirit, and this kept them coming back week after week. Behind this role was the phenomenal actress Amanda Blake, who poured her heart and soul into the role and became a household name in the process. But what a lot of people didn't know was that Amanda Blake was a powerhouse in real life. She fought for several causes and made an impact that cannot be forgotten. Amanda Blake was so much more than Miss Kitty of Gunsmoke. She was a real-life hero, and today we'll dig into her incredible story. Humble beginnings. When you hear the name Amanda Blake, what comes to mind? A phenomenal woman who loved life in color and stood up for the things she believed in. Yes, this is exactly who she was. But before the world got to know her, she was a different woman named Beverly Louise Neal. Before she became an actress, before the spotlight shone on her, she was a young woman from humble beginnings. Her story began on the 20th of February, 1929, when she was born in Buffalo, New York. This cute, starry-eyed baby was the only child of Jesse and Louise Neal, and they never had another child after her. Although she didn't discuss the intricacies of her childhood, she claimed to have had a pretty stable childhood and drew inspiration from some of her family members who did pretty impressive things. If the name Catherine Moore Kate Barry rings a bell, that means you have certainly heard about Amanda Blake's ancestor, who made history as a heroine of the American Revolutionary War. She was the daring woman who warned local patriots of the British general Banastre Tarleton's approach. This woman's warning helped them win the Battle of Cowpens. But that's not all. This victory, facilitated by Kate Barry, paved the way for the British defeat at Yorktown. Amanda Blake grew up hearing stories about Kate Barry and several other ancestors who did great things. Blake was beyond inspired by their daring feats, and their stories made her believe that she also had greatness flowing through her veins. It was only a matter of time before this greatness came alive. Gradually, as time passed, Amanda Blake began to discover her own potential and began to dream about what her future could look like. Although she spent most of her early years in Buffalo, her parents would later move to Claremont, California when she was still in high school. She completed high school at Claremont High School. Then she got admitted into Pomona College. It was in college that she began to notice her acting potential. She found herself gravitating towards theater productions, and she would rather spend her time actively participating in community theater productions than doing schoolwork. As she grew older, her love for acting only grew stronger. She began to participate in summer stock productions, and before she knew it, she was hooked. She then realized that she wanted to pursue acting full-time, but in order to do this, she had to make some sacrifices and take on odd jobs to support herself. So before she started getting reasonable gigs, she worked as a telephone operator while honing her craft and searching for opportunities. As challenging as this phase of her life was, it wasn't a waste. Working as a telephone operator helped her hone her diction skills and made her a better speaker and communicator. She also got some radio work because of how good she was at her job. She may have been earning a meager $1.40, but she got to develop herself and prepare herself for a life of greatness and impact through the lessons and skills she learned in that phase of her life. A pioneer in breeding cheetahs. One of the things that a lot of people don't know about Amanda Blake is the fact that she loved animals very deeply and dedicated her time and resources to making them feel more loved and safer. Her friends and close family members knew how much she loved animals, but for the cast members of Gunsmoke, it took some getting used to. If you were on the set of Gunsmoke on the first day that Amanda Blake brought her pet lion, Chemo, to the set, you would have probably run for her life. But for Amanda Blake, being around animals made her feel at home, and she even found a way to breed animals that were considered wild. Amanda Blake was more than just a TV star. She was a real-life hero for animals. While her co-stars were out painting the town red and doing other things they enjoyed, she was busy ensuring that every creature, big or small, had a cozy place to call home. Her love for animals wasn't just a hobby, it was a calling. The way she cared for animals and treated them proved that she had a pure and undiluted love for them. Interestingly, Amanda was knee-deep in the wild, experimenting and cracking the code on how to breed those majestic creatures successfully, and she succeeded. She wasn't just another actor with a pet. She was a pioneer in the field of animal breeding. Looking at her, you would never imagine that she would be interested in breeding some animals that are considered dangerous, but she was. While she was entertaining her fans, she was taking care of animals as well. She went as far as making room for Chemo, her pet lion, and the other big cats on the grounds of her home in Phoenix, Arizona. This wasn't just a fancy zoo, it was an animal paradise. Amanda and her husband, Frank Gilbert, were like the animal power couple running an experimental breeding program for cheetahs. And guess what? They nailed it. In fact, Amanda Blake was one of the first people to successfully breed cheetahs in captivity. 7 generations deep. Can you believe it? You can tell that she was dedicated to breeding these animals. When Gunsmoke wrapped up in the 1970s, she finally had enough time to spend with these animals. She took on a few television projects and spent most of her free time with animals. She kicked back in semi-retirement at her Phoenix home, but her work was far from over. She doubled down on her furry friends, giving them even more attention. Clearly, Amanda Blake wasn't just a TV icon. She was a true friend of the wild. She showed people what it truly means to be an animal lover, more than an actress. Amanda Kate Blake, often hailed as a phenomenal actress, left an indelible mark on both stage and screen throughout her illustrious career. Initially venturing into the world of acting through stage performances in New England's summer stock, Blake quickly garnered attention for her remarkable talent. It was MGM that recognized her potential and promptly signed her to a contract, envisioning her as the successor to the legendary Greer Garson, renowned for her string of Best Actress nominations at the Oscars during the 1940s. As time went by, it became clear that Amanda Blake was a phenomenal actress. Blake's cinematic debut occurred in 1950 with MGM's Stars in My Crown, marking the beginning of a memorable journey in Hollywood. Despite appearing in only a handful of films, her performances were nothing short of captivating. Notable among her roles were her portrayal in the 1952 Western Cattletown and her starring turn in the 1954 adaptation of Miss Robin Crusoe, a fresh take on the classic Robinson Crusoe adventure. However, it was her appearance in the iconic 1954 film A Star is Born that truly showcased her talent and solidified her status as a distinguished actress. Beyond her achievements in film, Blake's contributions to the Western genre were duly recognized. In 1968, she received the prestigious honor of being inducted into the Hall of Great Western Performers at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. Remarkably, she was only the 3rd performer to receive this distinction, following in the footsteps of legends such as Tom Mix and Gary Cooper, who were selected in 1958 and 1966 respectively. She deserved every accolade that she received. Amanda was truly a once-in-a-lifetime kind of actress. Truth is, Amanda Kate Blake's legacy as an actress of exceptional skill and versatility endures through her memorable performances and the accolades she received throughout her remarkable career. Her ability to command the stage and captivate audiences on the silver screen set her apart from her contemporaries, ensuring her a place among the most revered figures in the history of American cinema. A passionate performer. From the days when she worked as a telephone operator to her days on screens and under the spotlight, Amanda Blake has always found a way to stand out. One thing that really made Amanda Blake stand out from a lot of people in her generation was how she approached everything she did with passion. She was someone who believed that everything worth doing is worth doing well. Whether she was working on a movie project, series, or fighting for causes she believed in, she poured her heart into everything she did. It's no wonder she was able to build such an impressive career and leave such a remarkable legacy behind. Many people who became fans of Amanda Blake through her role as Miss Kitty didn't know the extent to which she poured her heart into her role. In a 1964 interview, Amanda Blake spoke about how attached she was to the role. In her words, "I feel just as much at home in that saloon as I do here, more so because I spend more time there. When the show ends, I'll have them pack up that set and move it out here. I don't know what I'd do without it." This was how she approached everything else in her life, with raw passion, commitment, and dedication. She was truly one of a kind. A lover of adventure. Amanda Blake wasn't just known for her acting gigs on TV shows like Gunsmoke. She had a real knack for adventure. When she wasn't busy with scripts and cameras, she was off exploring the world. Sure, most people recognize her as Miss Kitty from Gunsmoke, a role she played for almost 2 decades, but acting wasn't her only passion. Amanda Blake was the kind of person who was not interested in living an ordinary life. She saw color in the world and was interested in making her life a beautiful and eventful one. Sure, acting was her first love, but she didn't restrict herself to a life of work and little enjoyment. She wanted to see the world, visit places that she had never been to, immerse in different cultures, and to meet different people. She was like a butterfly, and nothing could stop her from spreading her wings and flying. When it was time to work, she focused on work. That was the only way she was able to build a successful career. She gained widespread recognition for her portrayal of Miss Kitty, the saloon keeper in the TV series Gunsmoke, a role she held for a remarkable 19 years, from 1955 to 1974. She made it clear that she enjoyed every bit of it. Due to her commitment to television, Blake had limited availability for film projects. Nevertheless, she made guest appearances on various TV shows such as The Red Skelton Show, Tattletales, and the revived Match Game of the 1970s. Additionally, she showcased her comedic talents on the Dean Martin Celebrity Roast. But beyond this impactful career was a woman who loved adventure. Blake had a thirst for travel that took her to some incredible places. She wasn't afraid to go off the beaten path, visiting exotic locations like the Galapagos Islands in Kenya. Africa was a favorite destination of hers, and she went there multiple times. She never failed to make out time to explore these places, and she did so even after retirement. Traveling made her feel more alive, and every chance she got, she hopped on a plane and traveled to her preferred destination. Most people who enjoyed watching her on screens didn't know about this part of her life. Later on, she even settled down on a big ranch in Galt, California. It was a place filled with animals, which was fitting for someone who cared so much about them. Her friend Pat Derby helped run the ranch, and it became her home for the rest of her days. So, while she may have been famous for her time on the screen, her love for adventure was just as important to her. A fearless animal rights advocate. Adventure was not the only thing that took her to other parts of the world. Her love for animals led her to fight for animal welfare. So, in order to educate herself more about animal conservation, she traveled to Africa. The knowledge she garnered from her travels would later lead her to start a welfare league for animals. One of the ways that you will know if someone cares about something is how much of their money and time they put it. Amanda Blake was known to have spent thousands of dollars on animal welfare because it was one for things she was passionate about. She didn't mind parting ways with her money and time because she knew for a fact that it was for a good cause. Amanda Blake was not only a talented actress, but also a passionate advocate for animal rights. Her dedication to this cause made her one of the pioneering figures in the field, fearlessly fighting for the well-being of animals worldwide. Throughout her life, Blake devoted herself to various animal rights causes, demonstrating her unwavering commitment to their welfare. She was instrumental in the formation of the Arizona Animal Welfare League in 1971, a pivotal moment that laid the groundwork for the organization to become the oldest and largest no-kill animal shelter in the state. Amanda Blake was on the front line of the animal welfare and animal rights movement, and her efforts encouraged her colleagues to do the same. In 1985, after she had made waves in the industry, Blake played a crucial role in financing the inception of the Performing Animal Welfare Society, PAWS. She not only contributed financially, but also invested significant time and effort in supporting PAWS's initiatives, including her travels to Africa to further her understanding of animal conservation. She wanted to ensure that she was learning and implementing strategies that will actually help animals all over the world. Blake's impact extended beyond borders as she joined forces with others to advocate for animal rights globally. She reportedly served as a board member of the Humane Society of the United States, leveraging her influence and resources to advance the cause on a national scale. In 1997, the Amanda Blake Memorial Wildlife Refuge was established at Rancho Seco Park in Harold, California. This sanctuary stands as a proof of her legacy, providing a safe haven for free-ranging African hoofed wildlife. Many of these animals were rescued from dire circumstances, originally destined for exotic animal auctions or hunting ranches. Thanks to Amanda Blake's tireless advocacy, millions of animals around the world have found safety, care, and sanctuary. Her fearless determination and unwavering dedication have left an indelible mark on the world of animal rights, inspiring countless others to follow in her footsteps. It's been decades since she passed on, but her impact is still felt. She showed people what relentless advocacy looked like, and very few people have been able to come close to the efforts that she made and the mark she left behind. Several other celebrities have chosen to stand up for animals in the form of advocacy, and most of them did so as a result of the works of Amanda Blake. She may be gone, but her impact will live for eternity. Finding purpose in pain. Ever seen those warning labels that are plastered on cigarette packs? Amanda Blake was one of the people who fought for those warnings to be put on the packs to show people the danger of smoking. Anyone who knew about Amanda Blake's personal life knew that she loved to smoke. She was one of the Hollywood stars that made smoking seem normal, almost like it was a status symbol or something that made people cool. But several years down the line, she began to regret picking up this habit. She wished she never smoked a day in her life. The actress who had tried her possible best to live a healthy life got a shocking diagnosis from her doctor in 1977. She was told that she had oral cancer. Why was this shocking to someone that was a chain smoker, you may ask? Well, she said that she didn't know how dangerous it was. She wasn't educated or informed about the dangers of smoking, as it was something that was marketed like it was harmless. In her words, "I am a victim of oral cancer, a victim of cigarette smoking. When my doctor told me I had cancer of the mouth, I didn't believe it. I had never even heard of cancer of the mouth, yet I had it." Thankfully, Amanda Blake didn't lose her life as a result of this ailment. She fought cancer and won. Because of her access to medical care, her strength, and the support of her family, she was able to beat the cancer, and she lived to warn people about the danger of the habit that made her fall sick. Despite her own battles with cancer, Amanda Blake found a profound sense of purpose in her struggle, driven by her innate compassion and desire to help others facing similar challenges. After courageously fighting and triumphed through surgery, her victory over cancer ignited a deep-seated commitment to advocate for cancer awareness and support. Following her recovery, Amanda Blake became a dedicated advocate for the American Cancer Society, leveraging her platform and influence to raise funds and awareness nationwide. She was willing to do everything she could to make sure that people were aware of how deadly smoking was. She would later travel to Washington from her home in Phoenix to testify in favor of proposed new warning labels for cigarette packages. It was said that the old smoking labels were a bit vague and didn't really cover the true dangers of smoking. People who owned cigarette brands were certainly not thrilled about the proposed new labels, as they were more specific and showed consumers the actual negative health effects of smoking. But Blake didn't stand down. She pushed for the warning label to be more informative and true. She told the subcommittee this: "I believe that I would not have smoked had I seen a label on a cigarette package or in a cigarette ad that said, 'Warning, cigarette smoking may cause death from heart disease, cancer, or emphysema.'" Her efforts were certainly not in vain. Shortly after the labels were changed and people began to see firsthand the negative effects of this vice, her fervent dedication to the cause garnered recognition, culminating in the prestigious American Cancer Society's Courage Award, personally bestowed upon her by former President Ronald Reagan in 1984. It was impossible to not notice the efforts that she made towards fighting for cancer awareness and research. Through her personal trials and advocacy efforts, Amanda Blake's legacy extends far beyond the realms of Hollywood fame. A timeless legacy. Despite her own health struggles, Blake's empathy and altruism knew no bounds. Tragically, her life was cut short in 1989 at the age of 60. Initially attributed to throat cancer, her death unveiled the stark reality of her battle with AIDS, a revelation that shook many. It was later revealed that her death may have been caused by something other than throat cancer. The actress's fifth husband, Mark Edward Spaeth, struggled with AIDS and died as a result of AIDS-related phenomena. So a lot of people believe that her husband transmitted this disease to her. Despite her tragic ending, even the cold hands of death cannot snatch away the mark she made and her legacy. Her legacy of passionate acting, charitable works, and an undying love for animals continues to live on. Amanda Blake was truly phenomenal. Icon, rebel, enigma. Susan Sarandon, a name that resonates beyond the silver screen, weaving a story of triumph, activism, and unexpected twists. Behind those captivating eyes lies a saga of surprises, facts so startling they redefine everything you thought you knew about her. From her unorthodox rise to fame to her daring off-screen escapades, Sarandon isn't just an actress. She's a force that challenged Hollywood norms and societal expectations. Admired by millions, yet fully known by few, prepare to uncover the layers of a woman who defied the script of a typical star. This is Susan Sarandon, and she never wanted to become an actress. You know how lots of actors dream of strutting their stuff on stage or hitting the big screen? Well, Susan Sarandon, the Academy Award champ, isn't one of those folks. Nope, she never planned on being an actor. According to her, the first wild idea she can remember was wanting to be an ocean wave. Yeah, she's not sure what that was about either. But showbiz, that was totally not on her radar. Sure, she dipped her toes into the occasional school play, but she'll be the first to admit that she sucked at it. The arts didn't really grab her until college at the Catholic University of America. She was hustling her way through college, manning the drama department's switchboard. Then, out of the blue, they threw her into some Shakespeare gig as a lady-in-waiting. She strolls across the stage, and just like that, people notice her. She did not have a major role or anything, but there was something about her that others were drawn to. But it wasn't until after she tied the knot with her college sweetheart, Chris Sarandon, that things got a bit star-studded. Chris was a grad student at the time and an actual actor doing Shakespeare leads at arena stage. He would take on the mantle to become her guide into the world of black and white movies and poetry. But for that to happen, let's fast forward to the movie Joe in 1970. Chris is auditioning, and they need someone to read lines with him, and the only person on ground at the time was our very own Susan Sarandon. Read with him, they say. And just like that, as she reads the lines, she does it like someone who was born to be a star. As a matter of fact, the crew decided to do a quick huddle up and offer her an improv role, and in that moment, Sarandon had her first taste of the spotlight. The film becomes a blockbuster. That's the turning point. Sarandon's acting career suddenly kicks into high gear. The next thing she knows, she's snagging a role in a soap opera and keeps snagging more gigs. Step by step, she learns the ropes, and after a solid decade, she realizes this is what she was born for. The rest, they say, is history. Her grandmother ran off. Most people may not realize that Susan Sarandon's grandmother ran away when Susan was just a teenager, and as you may imagine, it devastated her. So, when Susan got a call from a show called Who Do You Think You Are, and they said they could help find her long-lost mother, there was not much to think about. For Susan Sarandon, delving into her family's past on the TV show Who Do You Think You Are was a decision made without a second thought. The 63-year-old Oscar winner opened up about the emotional journey that unfolded during the episode, shedding light on a mystery that had lingered for years, the story of her grandmother, Anita. Anita's enigmatic disappearance from Susan's mother's life when she was just 16 years old had left a void, a question mark that lingered throughout the family's history. In an interview with TVGuide.com, Sarandon expressed her unwavering determination to uncover the truth. She said, "I had tried years before to track Anita down, so it was a small price to pay that people were discovering it as I was discovering it." The quest for answers led Sarandon on an exploration that reached all the way to Italy. It was there that the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. unveiling a narrative that held both heartache and unexpected joy. The revelation, however, was a bittersweet one. Susan learned that her grandmother, after a mysterious abandonment, had not only survived, but had lived a remarkably content life before her passing. She explained, "It was amazing that such a difficult beginning survived and eventually managed to have a stable last 35 years with someone she adored," Sarandon reflected. The discovery provided a sense of relief and closure for Susan and her family, unraveling a tale of resilience, happiness, and unexpected twists that shaped the trajectory of her grandmother's life. As the narrative unfolded on screen, viewers shared in the emotional journey, witnessing Susan Sarandon's poignant exploration of her family's history. The story became more than just a revelation. It became a testament to the complexities of familial bonds, the resilience of the human spirit, and the power of understanding one's roots, even when the truths uncovered are both heart-wrenching and heartwarming. She was a wild child. Susan Sarandon, the one and only, spilled the beans about her teenage years, and folks, it was a wild ride. She even gave herself the title of a brayless, rebellious flower child from the swinging 60s, and let's just say she wasn't your average teenager. In the groovy 60s, Sarandon proudly embraced the free-spirited vibe, and yes, she was all about that brayless life. Can you even imagine the shockwaves that were sent through the more conservative circles? Total rebel move. Now, let's talk about the wild side. When it came to experimenting with certain drugs of the era, Sarandon was right there, diving into the psychedelic experience like it was a cosmic roller coaster. And when her kids dared to ask if she'd ever dabbled in crack, she couldn't help but burst into laughter. According to Sarandon, she told them she was way too old for that and dropped the bomb that crack wasn't even a thing back in her day. So, there you have it, the rebellious adventures of Sarandon, the brayless flower child who rode the wave of the 60s with a mischievous grin and a been there, done that attitude. It's like a scene from a far-out movie, with Sarandon as the lead character in her own groovy coming-of-age story. Because after all, who needs a bra when you're busy breaking free from the norms of the past and paving the way for a flower-powered revolution? Peace, love, and a wild teenage Sarandon, a story for the ages. Her mother is a solid activist. Susan Sarandon is not just a one-time protester, she's practically the queen of activism. If there's a cause that needs a champion, you can bet Sarandon will be there, megaphone in hand, ready to stir things up. Let's take a stroll through the streets of Sarandon's protest history. We're not talking about a casual march here and there, we're talking about a full-blown parade of activism. Rallies, marches, and sit-ins. You name it, she's done it. Sarandon doesn't just believe in speaking out, she believes in making her presence known in the fight for a better world. Now let's unpack the laundry list of causes she's tackled. First up, racial violence. Sarandon has been on the front lines, using her voice to address the deep-rooted issues surrounding racial inequality. But she doesn't stop there. Her activism knows no bounds. Gender transitioning? Yep, she's been a staunch supporter advocating for the rights and visibility of the transgender community. Migrant rights? Sarandon has lent her voice to speak up for those often marginalized and overlooked, fighting for fair treatment and justice. But wait, there's more. LGBTQ+ rights are not just a cause for Sarandon, they're a passion. She's been a vocal ally, standing shoulder to shoulder with the LGBTQ+ community, demanding equality, love, and acceptance for all. And who could forget Occupy Wall Street? Sarandon was right there in the midst of it, advocating for economic justice and calling out the powers that be. She doesn't shy away from the big battles. In fact, she thrives in the thick of it. On one of her protests, a sit-in, she was even cuffed and arrested. Susan Sarandon was one of hundreds of women arrested in 2018 during a sit-in at the Hart Senate building in Washington, D.C. to protest President Trump's immigration policies. She shared the news on Twitter. "Arrested, stay strong, keep fighting, women disobey." Now, if you're thinking this is a hefty load for one person to carry, you're right. But Sarandon, she's a powerhouse. Political and civil issues, she's got them all covered. Her commitment to creating positive change knows no limits, and she's proven time and again that she won't back down from a fight. So if there's injustice to be tackled and causes to champion, you can bet your bottom dollar that Susan Sarandon will be right there, leading the charge. She's not just an actress, she's an unstoppable force for good, and the world is her stage for change. So here's to Sarandon, the eternal protester, making waves and leaving a legacy of activism that will echo through the ages. She gets stoned sometimes. Susan Sarandon is not just a seasoned activist. She's also a self-proclaimed fan of a particular leafy green herb. That's right, folks. Sarandon doesn't just tread the red carpet. She might just be leaving a trail of green in her wake. It turns out that she's been a bit, shall we say, elevated at nearly every award show she's attended. Sarandon, rocking the glamorous gowns, flashing those award-winning smiles, all while riding a wave of a certain green herb's influence. But there's one exception, the Oscars. Why, you ask? Well, no one wants to risk turning the Academy Awards into an impromptu reenactment of Jeff Spicoli's finest moments. The revelation that Sarandon has danced through various award ceremonies with a touch of herbal inspiration is a testament to her unapologetic, carefree spirit. It's like she's sprinkling a bit of her rebellious 60s flower child energy onto the glitzy Hollywood scene. Imagine the Golden Globes, Emmys, or SAG Awards. Sarandon's secret green companion is right there with her, adding a sprinkle of relaxation to the high-stakes atmosphere. It's almost as if she's mastered the art of blending glamour with a laid-back vibe, creating an iconic fusion that's uniquely hers. Now let's not forget the Oscars, the granddaddy of all awards shows. The one place where Sarandon keeps her feet firmly on the ground, because as much as we'd all love to witness a chilled-out Oscars night, the Academy might not be ready for the whirlwind of spontaneity that could ensue. Sarandon's candid revelation adds a playful and unexpected layer to her public persona. It's like finding out your favorite movie character has a quirky hobby, endearing, surprising, and undeniably human. Unusual side hustle. Susan Sarandon isn't just a Hollywood heavyweight, she's got a quirky side hustle that involves the unexpected world of table tennis. Yes, you heard that right. Table tennis bars, and it's not just a casual interest for Sarandon, it's a full-blown investment adventure. Sarandon, not content with just gracing the big screen, decides to dive headfirst into the realm of table tennis. And it's not your run-of-the-mill ping pong. It's a chain of table tennis bars, a concept that's as surprising as it is intriguing. It all started with the grand opening of Spin New York in June 2009. Sarandon, with her finger on the pulse of what's cool, decided to bring the joy of table tennis to the masses. It's like a quirky dream turned into reality, with Sarandon as the unlikely captain of the ping-pong revolution. Now imagine stepping into Spin New York, a haven for table tennis enthusiasts and casual players alike. The clatter of paddles, the bounce of balls, and the occasional cheers. It's a symphony of sporting fun. And guess what? Sarandon is not just a silent partner in this venture. She's the mastermind behind the scenes, making table tennis cool again. But here's where the plot thickens. Sarandon's connection to Spin New York goes beyond business. She dated the man in charge, Jonathan Bricklin, for a whopping 5 years. That's right, folks. Not only did she invest in the table tennis craze, but she also had a personal stake in the man running the show. Their love story, intertwined with the clinks and clatters of table tennis, adds an unexpected romantic twist to Sarandon's already colorful narrative. It's like a Hollywood script where the leading lady not only conquers the big screen but also dominates the ping-pong arena. She once worked as a cleaner. Susan Sarandon's journey to Hollywood stardom wasn't paved with red carpets. It was a winding road that involved a buffet of humble pies. Before she claimed her spot in the limelight, Sarandon donned multiple hats, and we're not just talking about the glamorous ones. Sarandon, long before she became a household name, rolling up her sleeves and diving into the world of odd jobs. Haircutting? Check. Waitressing? Double check. Operating the switchboard like a boss? You bet. And let's not forget the hustle of hustles, cleaning lady duties. Yep, Sarandon wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty, literally. Before the silver screen beckoned, Sarandon was out there, navigating the twists and turns of the real world. It's like a backstage tour of her life, where each odd job becomes a stepping stone in her journey to the big leagues. Haircuts in the morning, serving tables in the afternoon, and maybe a little switchboard magic in the evening. Sarandon was the ultimate multitasking maven. And it wasn't just about paying the bills, it was about building character, collecting stories, and perhaps discovering a thing or two about herself along the way. The glitz and glamour of Hollywood were still a distant dream, but Sarandon was putting in the grind, learning life's lessons in the most hands-on way possible. So, here's to Sarandon, the queen of versatility who wore many hats, literally and figuratively, before she snagged the coveted roles on the big screen. It's a tale of humble beginnings, a reminder that even Hollywood legends had their share of ordinary days, because before she became the Susan Sarandon we know and love, she was out there, hustling, cutting, serving, and cleaning, a true journeywoman on the road to stardom. She is persistent. Remember the show, Journey into the Rocky Horror Picture? Well, it was more of a wild splash than a refreshing dip. The behind-the-scenes story of this cult classic is a roller coaster of leaks, cold, and unexpected challenges that would make any actor shiver, both from the weather and the working conditions. Sarandon, after diving into that iconic swimming pool scene, caught pneumonia. Yep, you heard it right. The set, nestled in the chilly Oakley Court in Windsor, England, was far from the Hollywood glam you'd expect. Leaks, coupled with unforgiving weather, turned the Victorian country house into a set that was not just wet but downright cold. The crew tried to make things bearable by creating a warm room with space heaters for the cast and crew to thaw out. But hold on, this is a Hollywood story, and Hollywood loves a twist. The warm haven promptly turned into a fiery fiasco when the room decided to catch fire. Talk about heating things up in all the wrong ways. Now Sarandon, being the trooper she is, raised her concerns about these less-than-stellar working conditions with Fox. The response? A nonchalant, "You're complaining too much." Imagine working in a set where your breath could create icicles and the response to your concerns is a dismissive brush-off. But wait, it gets worse. Sarandon soldiers on after catching pneumonia during the pool scene. Richard O'Brien spills the tea, mentioning she was shaking with fever. O'Brien even admits that in hindsight, she should have had a doctor supervising her, but true to her dedication, Sarandon refused to hit the brakes. And it's not just Sarandon. Barry Bostwick, the other half of the on-screen duo, caught a more modest cold. But hey, when you're navigating a set that sounds more like an ice palace than a Hollywood studio, even a common cold feels like a frosty punch. To add a cherry on top of this chilly chaos, there were few bathrooms to accommodate the entire cast and crew. A bathroom shortage in the midst of freezing temperatures. Talk about a logistical nightmare. But through it all, Sarandon persisted and did her job. The pneumonia-defying queen of resilience who turned the frosty challenges of the Rocky Horror Picture Show into a testament of her unwavering dedication. The next time you're shivering in a pool, just remember, Susan Sarandon did it, and then some. She kept her award in the bathroom. Susan Sarandon and her Academy Award for Best Actress in Dead Man Walking. Turns out, the coveted Oscar had a VIP spot in her house, and it wasn't the glamorous display case you might imagine. Picture this. Sarandon, the proud owner of one shiny golden Oscar, decided to give it a unique home, the guest bathroom. Instead of gracing the mantle or basking in the spotlight of a grand display, this little golden guy found its cozy nook right next to the guest towels. For years, guests visiting Sarandon's abode were met not just by the warmth of hospitality, but also the glint of that Best Actress Oscar hanging out casually in the bathroom. It's a Hollywood tale with a humorous twist. Imagine the surprise on a visitor's face when they go to freshen up and find themselves face-to-face with an Oscar statuette. It's not your typical bathroom decor, but then again, Sarandon isn't your typical Hollywood star. So why the bathroom? Perhaps it was a touch of playful irreverence, a reminder reminder that even the highest accolades can have a sense of humor, or maybe Sarandon just thought the Oscar deserved a front-row seat to witness the candid moments of daily life, a silent witness to the comings and goings of guests. Eventually, the Oscar may have found a more conventional spot in the house, but for those years in the guest bathroom, it added a sprinkle of Hollywood magic to the most ordinary of spaces. It's a reminder that even in the world of glitz and glamour, sometimes the most treasured accolades find solace in the unlikeliest corners. She has a thing for younger men. Get ready for a plot twist in the love saga of Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins. In the summer of 2009, a quiet storm brewed, leading to a seismic shift in their 21-year partnership. The surprising part? The split was so under wraps that the press had to do a double take when Sarandon dropped the bombshell just days before Christmas. Imagine the whispers behind closed doors, the unspoken moments that marked the end of a two-decade journey. Sarandon and Robbins, once the epitome of Hollywood relationship goals, decided to part ways with a level of discretion that left even the most vigilant gossip mongers in the dark. And so, with the announcement echoing through the holiday season, Sarandon found herself back in the realm of singledom. But this wasn't just any ordinary return to solo life. It was a chapter shrouded in mystery and peppered with rumors of newfound freedom and youthful dalliances. The grapevine buzzed with whispers of Sarandon's post-split adventures, and the rumor mill went into overdrive with tales of her allegedly being linked to men half her age. Sarandon, a seasoned actress with a knack for keeping things interesting, navigating the dating scene with a newfound zest for life. As the speculation continued, the public couldn't help but be fascinated by the unfolding drama of Sarandon's love life post-Robbins. The whispers, the rumors, the intrigue. It was a Hollywood narrative with all the elements of a captivating storyline. The beauty of Sarandon's journey lies not just in the quiet unraveling of a long-standing relationship, but in the way she embraced the unknown with grace and a touch of scandalous charm. The chapter that followed her split became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the pursuit of happiness, and the allure of a newfound freedom that sparked rumors and fueled imaginations. In the gilded corridors of Hollywood's golden age, a different kind of story was unfolding, one that didn't feature in the glossy pages of fan magazines or the silver screen. It was the tale of faces adored by millions, yet also subjects of intense scrutiny and aversion. Why did some of the most celebrated stars in Hollywood become figures of controversy and disdain? From the enigmatic Hedy Lamarr, whose intellect caused as much awe as suspicion, to the charismatic Orson Welles, whose brilliance on screen couldn't shield him from the whispers off it. This journey isn't just about unraveling the tales of these stars, it's about understanding the complex dynamics of fame, public perception, and the often harsh reality of the limelight. As we delve into each story, remember, the line between adoration and loathing can be as thin as the cinema screen itself. Genius misunderstood. Hedy Lamarr, known for her stunning beauty in Hollywood's golden age, was a star whose brilliance extended beyond the screen. Born Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler in Austria in 1914, she embarked on a film career that led her to Hollywood, where she became an iconic figure. However, behind her captivating exterior lay an inventive mind that significantly contributed to modern technology. During World War II, Lamarr co-invented a frequency-hopping spread-spectrum technology intended to prevent enemy forces from jamming torpedo guidance systems. This invention laid the groundwork for today's Wi-Fi, GPS, and Bluetooth communication systems. Despite this groundbreaking achievement, her scientific intellect was largely overlooked during her lifetime, overshadowed by her on-screen persona. Lamarr's career in Hollywood was marked by notable films like Algiers, 1938, and Samson and Delilah, 1949. However, her intelligence and contributions to science were not widely recognized or appreciated in an era where actresses were seldom acknowledged for anything beyond their physical appearance and acting capabilities. Her personal life was equally complex, with 6 marriages and a struggle for fulfillment and recognition beyond her film roles. Lamar's later years saw her retreating from public life, her remarkable inventions and intellectual contributions becoming mere footnotes in her Hollywood story. The story of Hedy Lamarr is one of extraordinary talent, both on-screen and in scientific innovation, yet it's also a tale of a woman misunderstood and underappreciated in her time. The Mavericks Downfall. Orson Welles, a name synonymous with cinematic genius, experienced a journey in Hollywood that was as turbulent as it was brilliant. Born in 1915, Welles's early work, especially Citizen Kane, 1941, is often hailed as one of the greatest films ever made. However, his career was a roller coaster of highs and lows, marked by constant battles with Hollywood studios and financial troubles. Welles's innovative techniques and refusal to conform to traditional filmmaking norms often put him at odds with the Hollywood establishment. His projects were ambitious and groundbreaking, but they also often went over budget and were subject to heavy studio interference. This tension led to a number of unfinished projects and films that were released in heavily edited forms, far from Welles' original vision. His personal life was equally tumultuous. Known for his charismatic yet commanding personality, Welles had complex relationships with colleagues and partners. His lifestyle and outspoken nature contributed to his reputation as a maverick in the industry, a label that, while adding to his legend, also alienated some. Financial difficulties plagued much of Welles's later career. He spent his final years in Europe working on a variety of projects, many of which were left incomplete. Despite the struggles of his later life, Welles remained a respected figure in the film community, known for his immense talent and contributions to cinema. Orson Welles' career in Hollywood was a complex interplay of groundbreaking artistry and constant struggle with industry constraints. After Citizen Kane, his subsequent projects often clashed with studio expectations, reflecting the ongoing tension between Welles' visionary approach and the commercial demands of the film industry. His second film, The Magnificent Ambersons, 1942, faced significant editing against his wishes, setting a pattern for future conflicts. Welles's ambitious nature led him to seek creative freedom, but this often resulted in financial instability. His refusal to compromise often meant losing studio support, leaving many of his projects either unfinished or altered. This struggle with the Hollywood system led Welles to work increasingly in Europe, where he hoped to find more artistic liberty. Despite these challenges, Welles continued to innovate. He explored new storytelling techniques, both in his films and in other mediums like radio and theater. His adaptation of Shakespeare's plays and his work in film noir were ahead of their time, influencing generations of filmmakers. In his later years, Welles's focus shifted to smaller, independent projects. He became a revered figure in the industry, known for his contributions to cinema, despite the difficulties he faced. His persistence in pursuing his artistic vision amidst numerous obstacles was a testament to his commitment to filmmaking. The Mexican Spitfire's turbulent life. Lupe Velez, nicknamed the Mexican Spitfire for her fiery on-screen persona, was a star whose life was marked by passion and controversy. Born in 1908 in San Luis Potosí, Mexico, Velez's journey to Hollywood stardom was a testament to her talent and tenacity, but it was also a path filled with personal strife and public scandal. Breaking into Hollywood at a time when Latina actresses were few, Velez quickly made a name for herself with her vivacious energy and comedic timing. She became known for her roles in films like The Gaucho, 1927, and the Mexican Spitfire series. However, Velez's off-screen life often overshadowed her cinematic achievements. Velez's personal life was a whirlwind of high-profile romances and tumultuous relationships. Her love affairs, including those with figures like Gary Cooper and Johnny Weissmuller, were the talk of the town, often resulting in scandalous headlines. Her fiery temperament both charmed and alarmed the public and the press, contributing to a public image that was as volatile as it was captivating. Her career, while successful, faced challenges due to the typecasting of Latina actresses and the limited roles available to them. Velez often played stereotypical characters, a reflection of the era's racial attitudes. Despite these limitations, she brought depth and charisma to her performances, demonstrating her range as an actress. Tragically, Velez's life came to a premature end in 1944. Her death was as dramatic as the life she led, and it sparked a media frenzy. The circumstances of her passing were subject to speculation and sensationalism, further complicating her already complex legacy. Lupe Velez's story is one of groundbreaking achievements in the face of industry barriers and personal challenges. Her vibrant presence on the screen and tumultuous life off it paint a picture of a woman who navigated the highs and lows of fame in an era when Hollywood was just beginning to understand the power and influence of its stars. Velez's life, marked by triumphs and tragedies, remains a captivating chapter in the history of cinema. Glamour and personal struggles. Rita Hayworth, born Margarita Carmen Cancino in 1918, was one of Hollywood's most glamorous and beloved actresses. Her journey to stardom, however, was marked by personal challenges and the pressures of fame. Hayworth's career took off in the 1940s with films like Gilda, 1946, and The Lady from Shanghai, 1947. Her stunning looks and talent made her a symbol of Hollywood glamour, but behind the scenes, Hayworth faced difficulties that were far removed from her on-screen persona. One of the major challenges in Hayworth's life was her struggle with relationships. Her 5 marriages, including a high-profile union with Prince Ali Khan, were widely publicized and often tumultuous. The constant media attention and the pressures of her personal life significantly impacted her mental and emotional well-being. Hayworth also faced challenges in her professional life. As her career progressed, she struggled with the typecasting and limited roles available to her. Despite her immense talent, Hayworth often found herself confined to roles that emphasized her looks over her acting abilities. In addition to these struggles, Hayworth dealt with health issues later in her life. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, a condition that was little understood at the time. Her diagnosis brought attention to the disease and its impact on individuals and families. Rita Hayworth's life in Hollywood was a mix of dazzling success and personal challenges. Her story is reflective of the complexities faced by many stars of her era, who, despite their public image of glamour and perfection, dealt with private struggles and the pressures of fame. Theatrical brilliance, personal controversy. Laurence Olivier, an actor renowned for his work on both stage and screen, was a figure whose talent was matched by the complexity of his personal life. Born in 1907 in England, Olivier's career spanned several decades, during which he established himself as one of the greatest actors of his time. Olivier's contributions to the theater were monumental. His interpretations of Shakespearean roles are particularly celebrated, showcasing his range and depth as an actor. In cinema, he delivered memorable performances in films like Wuthering Heights, 1939, and Rebecca, 1940, further cementing his status as an acting legend. Despite his professional successes, Olivier's personal life was fraught with challenges. His high-profile marriage to actress Vivien Lee was both a romantic and creative partnership, but it was also marked by turmoil. Lee's struggles with mental health issues and Olivier's own career pressures put a strain on their relationship, making their private life a subject of public fascination. Olivier's career was not without controversy. He faced criticism for some of his artistic choices, including his portrayal of Othello in blackface, a decision that has been re-evaluated and criticized in more recent times. Additionally, his management of the National Theatre was sometimes a point of contention, as his leadership style and artistic decisions were often scrutinized and debated. In his later years, Olivier continued to work in theater and film, though he faced health issues that affected his performances. Despite these challenges, he remained a respected figure in the arts, known for his dedication to his craft and his contributions to the acting world. The story of Laurence Olivier is one of artistic triumphs and personal trials. His life reflects the complexities of balancing a successful career with personal struggles and the pressures of living in the public eye. Stardom and mental health challenges. Vivien Lee, an actress of remarkable talent and beauty, known for her iconic roles in Gone with the Wind, 1939, and A Streetcar Named Desire, 1951, had a life that was as dramatic off-screen as it was on. Born in 1913 in Darjeeling, India, Leigh's rise to stardom was meteoric, but it was accompanied by personal struggles that deeply affected her life and career. Lee's performance as Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind earned her widespread acclaim and an Academy Award. Her talent was undeniable, but so was the turbulence of her personal life, particularly her battle with mental health issues. Lee suffered from bipolar disorder, a condition that was not well understood at the time and often mismanaged. Her illness, coupled with the pressures of her career, had a profound impact on her personal and professional relationships. Her marriage to Laurence Olivier, while a union of two great talents, was strained by Lee's health struggles. The couple's public life was glamorous and celebrated, but privately they faced challenges that were exacerbated by Lee's condition. Her illness often led to erratic behavior, which was scrutinized by the press and misunderstood by the public. Lee's career, though illustrious, was marred by periods of difficulty related to her health. Her performances were sometimes affected by her illness, leading to a decline in roles and opportunities in her later years. Despite these challenges, she continued to act in both film and theater, delivering performances that were often praised for their intensity and emotional depth. The life of Vivien Lee was one of contrasts, immense success shadowed by personal struggles. Her story sheds light on the challenges faced by individuals in the public eye dealing with mental health issues, especially during an era when such matters were rarely discussed openly. Typecast and Red Scare victim Edward G. Robinson, a distinguished actor known for his roles as gangsters and tough guys, faced a career marked by typecasting and political controversy. Born Emanuel Goldenberg in 1893 in Romania, Robinson's family immigrated to the United States, where he would eventually rise to fame in Hollywood. Robinson's portrayal of Rico in Little Caesar, 1931, set the standard for movie gangsters and launched him into stardom. However, his success in such roles became a double-edged sword as he found himself typecast, limiting his opportunities to explore a wider range of characters. Despite this, Robinson's talent allowed him to deliver compelling performances in a variety of genres, including drama, comedy, and noir. Robinson's career took a downturn during the Red Scare of the 1950s. His outspoken views and political activism, particularly his stance against fascism and support for the civil rights movement, made him a target of the House Un-American Activities Committee, HUAC. He was labeled a communist sympathizer, a charge that greatly affected his career. Although he was never officially blacklisted and continued to work, the accusations tarnished his reputation and caused him significant distress. Throughout the challenges he faced, Robinson remained dedicated to his craft. He continued to act in both film and theater, demonstrating his resilience in the face of adversity. Robinson's ability to navigate the complexities of Hollywood, marked by both professional highs and personal lows, reflects the tumultuous nature of the industry during a politically charged era. Edward G. Robinson's story is not just about his iconic roles in cinema, but also about his struggle against the political and social constraints of his time. His experiences highlight the impact of McCarthyism on Hollywood and the personal toll it took on many actors during that period. Sensationalism and tragedy. Jane Mansfield, a Hollywood actress in the 1950s and 60s, known for her bombshell image, graced the silver screen with a blend of glamour and charisma. Born Vera Jane Palmer in 1933 in Pennsylvania, Mansfield rose to fame during a time when the film industry was dominated by glamorous sex symbols. Mansfield was often compared to Marilyn Monroe for her platinum blonde hair and hourglass figure. She starred in films like The Girl Can't Help It, 1956, and Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter? 1957. Her on-screen persona was a mix of sensuality and comedic talent, which quickly made her a popular figure in Hollywood. However, Mansfield's career was also marked by sensationalism. She was known for her publicity stunts and personal life, which often overshadowed her professional achievements. Her multiple marriages and relationships were constant fodder for the media, and she was frequently in the spotlight for her bold personality and lifestyle. Despite her fame, Mansfield's career faced challenges. She struggled with being typecast and sought more serious roles, which were often denied to her. This struggle led to her taking roles in low-budget films and stage productions as she tried to showcase her range as an actress. Tragically, Mansfield's life was cut short in a car accident in 1967 at the age of 34. The accident was widely publicized, adding to the sensationalism that often surrounded her. The circumstances of her death became a part of her enduring legend in Hollywood history. Talent haunted by personal demons. Montgomery Clift, a talented actor of the mid-20th century, was known for his intense and nuanced performances. Born in 1920, Clift's career in Hollywood was marked by critical acclaim, but also personal struggles that greatly impacted his life and work. Clift brought a new style of acting to the film industry, characterized by depth and vulnerability. His performances in films like A Place in the Sun, 1951, and From Here to Eternity, 1953, earned him significant praise and established him as a leading actor of his time. His method acting approach was ahead of its era and influenced future generations of actors. Despite his professional success, Clift's personal life was troubled. He grappled with issues related to his identity and personal relationships, which were complicated by the conservative social norms of the time. Clift's life was also marked by health problems, exacerbated by a serious car accident in 1956, after which he became dependent on alcohol and prescription drugs. The accident had a profound impact on Clift's career and personal life. It led to a visible change in his appearance and affected his ability to work. The latter part of his career was marked by fewer roles and declining health, yet he continued to deliver compelling performances. Clift's story is one of a gifted actor who faced significant personal challenges. His contributions to cinema are marked by groundbreaking performances that showcased his profound talent and emotional depth. His life, with its highs and lows, reflects the complexities of navigating fame and personal struggles in an industry that was often unforgiving. Defying conventions, facing censorship. Mae West, a figure synonymous with boldness and wit in Hollywood, was a trailblazer whose career was as controversial as it was influential. Born in 1893 in Brooklyn, New York, West's journey in entertainment was marked by her unapologetic embrace of sexuality and her defiance of social norms. West's early career in vaudeville and on Broadway showcased her talent as a performer and a writer. She was known for her risque content, which often led to censorship battles. Her move to Hollywood in the 1930s was a significant shift, where she quickly made her mark with films like She Done Him Wrong, 1933, and I'm No Angel, 1933. In Hollywood, West became known not just for her screen presence, but for her sharp wit and one-liners. However, her open sexuality and the themes of her films often clashed with the conservative values of the time, leading to censorship challenges. The Hays Code, which set strict guidelines for morality in films, significantly impacted her work, leading to toned-down content and a shift in her approach. West's personal life was as bold as her screen persona. She challenged societal norms regarding relationships and sexuality, and her outspoken nature made her a controversial figure. Despite this, she maintained a strong fan base and was respected for her contributions to entertainment and her advocacy for freedom of expression. Throughout her career, West faced scrutiny and censorship but remained committed to her unique style. Her influence extended beyond film, contributing to discussions on censorship, sexuality, and women's independence in the entertainment industry. Mae West's reputation in Hollywood is one of a woman who defied conventions and faced the challenges of an industry and society that often tried to suppress her voice.